easy for you. You can do anything you want. You're Joker.
Lady Gaga, take one.
The chaos of the process was something that gave a lot of life to this couple. Some of these circumstances are sort of psychotic. Everything was grounded in something real because this was who they really were. Some people refer to it as double insanity. Other people talk about it being this condition where two people who have psychosis, one gives psychosis to the other person. They believe a shared fantasy, a shared delusion, and to each other and those around them, they will defend their fantasy at any cost. And also, a very extreme version of what people do when they're in love.
We thought it was really important, if we're gonna do music in the film in the way that we did it, that the person we cast opposite Arthur kind of brings music with them. Scott and I just sort of kind of started writing it with her in mind.
Where it was at the very beginning was a sequel for Arthur Fleck, but an origin story for Harley Quinn. I worked a lot with Todd and Joaquin every single day on how to bring out her humanity amidst a story that's wild.
How can you love someone like him?
How can I not? He's gonna set the world on fire.
I found her to be without ego and had such a fierce determination to get right in with us and go wherever it led us.
Going through the screen test process was when I met Joker for the first time. And I had that kind of fan experience of, oh my God, that's Joker. I thought this is perfect. This is Lee. We didn't really fully calibrate Lee until about 2 weeks into filming. And it took us that long to figure out how we orient her gravity to be in Arthur's orbit, because this movie is very different than the first Joker, but the world is still there.
A lot of us had done the first film, so we understood the methodology of like preparation and then throwing it all away. And she was able to make those adjustments and discover the character in real time.
A lot of the magic happens in those spontaneous moments. You know, things that maybe weren't planned, or an idea that happens in the moment. That's really some special stuff.
It was like free jazz.
Yeah.
You know, you just get in there and you start playing.
It's exciting and it doesn't make things boring, because sometimes we're stuck on set and everything goes by plan and it gets kind of boring after a while, but never on this movie. There's always something exciting going on. Things change, we reshoot things, and then it's completely different to the script and everybody changes their mind, but it's kind of fun. The creativity really shines, actually.
One of the best things I've learned from Todd is the idea that you plan a movie, but you really discover what movie you're making in the first couple weeks.
All right, locked up, and roll it.
Action.
You know, I must have watched that TV movie they made about you like 100 times. You know, I must have watched that TV movie they made about you like 100 times. I must have watched that TV movie they made about you like 100 times.
Bravo! From the top. Do it again.
Great. Cut.
I must have watched that TV movie they made about you like 20 times.
Good. Nice.
I made it a little lower because it's a little high.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I must have watched that TV movie they made about you like 20 times.
The first time he sees Lee, and it's the first time we feel really any warmth in the movie.
Music and action.
Deux, Folie.
Good.
B word is so different from the E and the F word, where Arthur comes from. You know, I used color and print in ways that I didn't in the other part of Arkham.
We had Harley Quinn print on the sweaters, but it was very subtle, the sort of hint of who she would be. Even like my underwear was chosen perfectly to be something kind of immature. I had this sort of thought in my mind that Lee was kind of younger in her mind than she was in real life.
I'm so thrilled about the fantasy costumes. They're so much fun. It was just a really great break from gritty reality, if you will.
I said, hey, I think it could be interesting if we see these two through the lens of Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers dancing as a fantasy of theirs. Over time, we started to question, is this really their fantasy? And Joaquin came into the studio one day and he said, I have an idea. And he put on Hilder's score from the first film, and we did the entire waltz, and it was like a total revelation.
Are the feet okay, though? Because my feet are is it okay that my feet are different, Michael?
We leaned into what the combination of the songs could be. Joaquin came out in his tux, she came out in her unbelievable dress. The room kind of got more and more quiet, just sort of anticipating, like, what is this going to be?
Nobody go up there unless they tell somebody, and unless you're a grip. Anybody else on the crew, if you think, wow, what a cool view, just don't.
After this is this. This one just is that, instead of
Really pleasantly surprised about a lot of these colors coming together and working together and not against. I would have never imagined working my music into these types of songs.
There's a hint of a dream of absolute romance, but it's a little sideways. Huge sweeping turns across the rooftop became extremely sort of scary. This is part of what was exciting about making this movie. We would throw things out and do them differently and change the music and change the scene, and somehow it said something that we hadn't thought of.
It was extraordinary to watch them fly. It's that old saying, like, let's not squeeze all the lemons until the day, and I was like, I can't wait to see what they're going to do with this and where they're going to take it.
From NCB Studios in Gotham City, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Joker and Harley Show.
It's very kinetic, to use a word, for the audience. I think they pick up on the strange energy of it all.
Hey, why'd you stop? What happened?
Well, you weren't even looking at me. You weren't even looking at me anymore. I mean, you're making it all about yourself, and the song's about loving me.
They want to write it with the movie and with Arthur and Stephanie.
What happened?
You're making it all about yourself. And the song is about loving me.
Now look who's making it all about themselves.
I'm just wild about her. Not that I have a lot to do with her, but I do gawk at her a lot, and that's cool.
Dogs!
Yeah?
Now, Steve.
Joaquin!
It must be such an interesting experience for Stephanie, having to probably pare back her professionalism and talent to play this character who is not.
Lee's not a great singer. She's like doing her best.
I think it was probably very difficult for her to not sing as she normally does. There had to be like a rawness to the character.
The whole time I was watching, I kept thinking, I hope this guy blows his fucking brains out.
One thing that I noticed when I first started working with her, she would say, well, this song is about this person that experiences this thing, and then this happens. But then I began to really appreciate what that brings to her performance.
To an audience, it might seem so out of control, but it's not. Stephanie, she is blazing.
You really only hear me sing full me for maybe one scene. To me, the birth of Harley Quinn is when Arthur rejects Joker.
I wanted to come out here as Joker, and I was gonna go on an angry rant.
And Harley has fully retreated into a fantasy to survive without him. And at the end, she kind of discovers who she's gonna be for the rest of her life. When we have big heartbreak, it kind of just defines who we are. The diamond eyes that I created was meant to really celebrate Joker. Harley is Lee's Joker makeup mixed with her tears. She is brokenhearted, but she will go on that way. And that's the only way she can go on. I always knew who Lee was inside, but I never came to set with a preconceived idea. In fact, I worked really hard to throw those ideas away and just try to be as honest as I could in every scene. And because Joaquin does it different every time, it was important that Lee did too.